Hello and welcome to another episode of China Record. The US has recently announced a new executive order that prohibits US investors from investing in Chinese companies or entities that are involved in developing or producing artificial intelligence, semiconductors, or quantum computing technologies. The order, which will take effect in January 2024, aims to protect U.S. national security and economic interests from the threats posed by China's technological and military rise. The order could have significant implications for China's technological and economic development, as well as its relations with the U.S. and other countries. Here is a timeline of the U.S. ban on Chinese tech investments, based on the web search results. July 2022, the U.S. Department of Commerce adds 14 Chinese entities to its entity list, which restricts their access to U.S. technology and products, citing their involvement in human rights abuses in Xinjiang. August 2022, the U.S. Department of Defense adds 11 Chinese companies to its list of Communist Chinese Military Companies, CCMCs, which prohibits U.S. investors from holding or trading their securities. September 2022, the U.S. Department of Commerce issues a new ban on the export of high-performance GPU chips to China, concerned at their apparent use by the Chinese military, according to GPU giant NVIDIA's SEC Filing 3. NVIDIA's major rival AMD tells Reuters that the firm has also been notified of the new ban and a computing card produced by the firm will be affected. October 2022, the U.S. Department of Commerce adds 6 more Chinese entities to its entity list, accusing them of supporting China's military modernization efforts and undermining U.S. national security interests. The entities include SMIC, China's largest chip maker, and DJI, the world's leading drone maker. November 2022, President Joe Biden signs an executive order that expands the scope of the CCMC list and bans U.S. investments in 59 Chinese companies, including Huawei, ZTE, Hikvision, and China Telecom. The order also authorizes the Treasury Secretary to add more companies to the list in the future. August 2023, President Joe Biden signs another executive order that narrowly prohibits certain U.S. investments in sensitive technology in China and requires government notification of funding in other tech sectors. The order targets investments in Chinese entities in 3 sectors: semiconductors and microelectronics, quantum information technologies, and certain artificial intelligence systems. Here are some of the possible effects of the order. Reduced capital and expertise for Chinese innovation. One of the immediate effects of the order is that it could reduce the amount of capital and expertise available for Chinese startups and innovators in these sectors, making it harder for them to compete with their U.S. counterparts or global rivals. According to a report by Rhodium Group, U.S. investors held about $1.1 trillion worth of Chinese stocks and bonds as of June 2020, some of which are likely to be affected by the order. Moreover, many Chinese companies in these sectors rely on U.S. venture capital, talent, or partnerships to grow and expand their businesses. For example, SenseTime, a leading AI company in China, has received funding from U.S. investors such as Silver Lake and Qualcomm. Horizon Robotics, a semiconductor company that specializes in AI chips, has also partnered with Intel and Microsoft. Quantum CTech, a quantum communication company that claims to have achieved quantum supremacy, has collaborated with Alibaba Cloud and Amazon Web Services. These companies could face challenges in accessing U.S. capital or markets in the future due to the order. Hampered self-reliance and independence in critical technologies. Another effect of the order is that it could hamper China's efforts to achieve self-reliance and independence in critical technologies, especially in the semiconductor industry, where it still relies heavily on foreign suppliers and equipment. Semiconductors are essential for powering various devices and applications, such as smartphones, computers, cars, AI systems, and quantum computers. China is the world's largest consumer of semiconductors, but it only produces about 16% of its own demand. China has been trying to reduce its dependence on foreign semiconductors by investing heavily in its domestic industry and supporting local champions such as Huawei and SMIC. However, these efforts have been hindered by U.S. sanctions and export restrictions that have cut off China's access to advanced chip-making technologies and materials from companies such as Qualcomm, Intel, NVIDIA, ASML, and TSMC. The new order could further limit China's ability to acquire or develop cutting-edge semiconductors for its AI and quantum computing needs. Increased tensions and mistrust between the U.S. and China. A third effect of the order is that it could increase the tensions and mistrust between the US and China, as well as other countries that have interests or investments in these sectors. The order is seen by many as a continuation of the Trump administration's policies that aim to contain China's technological and military rise by imposing tariffs, sanctions, bans, and blacklists on Chinese companies and entities. The order also reflects the Biden administration's view that China is a strategic competitor and a systemic rival that poses challenges to U.S. values and interests. The order could trigger a backlash from China, which has already denounced it as an unreasonable suppression of its legitimate rights and interests. China could also retaliate by imposing its own restrictions or countermeasures on U.S. companies or entities that operate in China or cooperate with Chinese partners. Moreover, the order could create friction or uncertainty for other countries or regions that have ties or investments with both the U.S. and China in these sectors, such as Europe, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, or India. These countries or regions could face pressure or dilemmas on how to balance their relations with both sides amid the escalating technological rivalry. Opportunities for other countries or regions to cooperate with China. A fourth effect of the order is that it could also create opportunities for other countries or regions to fill the gap left by the U.S. investors and cooperate with China on these technologies. Despite the U.S. ban, China still has access to capital and expertise from other sources, such as domestic investors, state-owned enterprises, sovereign wealth funds, or foreign investors from friendly or neutral countries. China could also seek to strengthen its ties or partnerships with other countries or regions that share its vision or interests in developing these technologies. For example, Europe has been pursuing a more balanced and pragmatic approach towards China than the US, seeking to engage with China on areas of common interest such as climate change, trade, and innovation. Europe also has its own strengths and ambitions in these sectors, such as the EU's plan to invest €20 billion per year in AI by 2030, or France's plan to invest €1.8 billion in quantum technologies by 2025. Europe could benefit from collaborating with China on these technologies, as well as from accessing China's large and growing market. Similarly, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and India are also important players and partners in these sectors, with their own capabilities and goals. Japan and South Korea are among the world's leading producers and exporters of semiconductors, while Taiwan is home to TSMC, the world's largest contract chipmaker. India is also emerging as a hub for AI and quantum computing, with its large pool of talent and startups. These countries or regions could leverage their strengths and advantages to cooperate with China on these technologies, as well as to diversify their markets and reduce their dependence on the US. Conclusion: the US ban on future investments in Chinese AI, semiconductor, and quantum computing is a significant move that could have far-reaching implications for China's technological and economic development, as well as its relations with the US and other countries. The order could affect China's innovation, self-reliance, independence, and competitiveness in these sectors, as well as increase the tensions and mistrust between the US and China. However, the order could also create opportunities for other countries or regions to fill the gap left by the US investors and cooperate with China on these technologies. The order could therefore reshape the global balance of power and influence in these sectors, as well as the future of humanity. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. Let us know what you think in the comments section, and if you have any other topic you want us to cover. See you in the next video.